This ad break is powered by the Salina Moose Lodge 1473. Thank you again for sponsoring the Two Dads Podcast. On Thursday, April 17th, it's live music with Zach Christensen from 7 to 10 p.m., so kick back, relax, and enjoy the vibes. On Saturday, April 19th, it's the Schifferly Road Band, taking the stage from 7 to 11 p.m., and it's going to be a night full of fun, energy, and local flavor. And then, Thursday, April 24th, the best night of the spring, it's the NFL Draft Night at the Moose, with the return of the famous wheel. And yes, two legendary dads will be in attendance. TwoDads Podcast doing their first live podcast at the draft night. Prizes, surprises, and draft day excitement you won't want to miss. Join us at the Salina Moose Lodge 1473, where the community gathers and the good times roll. If you want to be part of something different, something unique, something fun, join the Salina Moose today. Hello, and welcome to the Two Dads Podcast, episode number 9. We're back, Bill, for yet another one. To the dismay or love of our lovers or haters, we have come back for number 9. Good to see you, buddy. I'm OG Pickle. Some people call me Mitch. This is Slick Willie. He's to my left, my co-host. How was your weekend, buddy?
Hey, how are you? It was good. And actually, now that you say that there was a hater, I got into it on Instagram with
Let's
this guy.
Let's jump into this right away. We got to start right out the gates. Bill dealt with his first hater. Hit him with that story before we go into our weekend updates.
Man, there was this guy on Instagram, and I'm not going to give him the clout of the name. I doubt he listens to it because he said how pathetic our podcast
Bull crap.
was.
He's going to listen to every episode, and I hope you kill him with kindness. Continue on, though.
I asked I made a comment on Instagram, I forget what it was, and basically, he called me soft and this and a failure of a podcast and all this stuff, and I just replied back and I said, I hope you run your next triathlon really well, buddy. He's like a triathlon athlete. He's got like an apparel brand and all this, and he just keeps going in on me, and I'm just like, hey, best of luck in your business of your apparel. It looks like it's doing really good with its 123 followers. And,
you'd think with a triathlete, though, aren't they supposed to be like the mental strongest? Like they're doing 3 sports, 3 high intensity, lots of training. Usually their message coming in it is like, you can do this. Yeah. Push your body to the limit.
Inspiring.
He's an entrepreneur too. I mean, the failure, successful entrepreneur, which by the way, we clicked that apparel link, doesn't work. So it's not like this guy's smoking it or anything.
I literally clicked it and I only wanted to buy one to tell him, hey, thanks. Hopefully my shirt comes in 3 to 5 days like you promised, and the domain link didn't work. So I said, hey,
could you
FYI.
imagine? He trashes you. By the way, just for context, for those that are listening or watching on YouTube, this wasn't even on one of our posts. So like Bill's texting me. He's like, this guy is coming at us. He put some wild stuff I had to delete and report on Instagram, like on our posts after. Yeah. He trickled over, followed you back, did a detailed dive in your life. And you're sitting here going, I wish I could have bought a t-shirt from him just to keep smacking her. Thanks for your business.
Yeah. So it was on my personal account. It wasn't on, the Two Dads Pod. And I don't even know what it was. I was just commenting on something and he just went in on me. And I was trying to be professional about it. He just kept going, so I said he tried to follow me. I didn't let him follow me. Thank God it's private, because then he probably grabbed my wife's Instagram and anything else like that and started harassing her. So, yeah, first hater out on socials.
It means we're doing something right? If they're not cheering you or booing you, then they don't. And then you're green as grass. You're irrelevant. So that's cool. Beyond that, okay.
Yeah.
How was the normal side of your weekend besides getting attacked by random strangers on the internet? What did you do with your family?
It was good. Riker went to Monster Jam with Grandpa and his uncle Brandon. So they went there, did that. He was excited. One of the monster trucks must have flipped and like crunched like a beer can. So he was excited that he was able to see that.
Are they still the same? Like, is it Gravedigger and Bigfoot?
A couple of those other ones, but there was like a Hot Wheels one and some other ones. They're a little different than what I would say like you and I might be familiar with. But we went to Monster Jam like 3 or 4 years ago when he was 3 or 4, and he enjoyed it then. He enjoyed it now. He's 7. And then Haley and I kind of relaxed around the house and did the weddingly duty thing of going to Costco, exciting parent stuff. So
love it. Now that you're at this age, the kids are out of the house, you'd think you'd have a little time. Nope, we're going to go hit up Costco and get bulk groceries.
Yeah. 96 fruit snacks. Yeah. Nothing excites me more.
200 bananas and ham that will last you for half a year.
Yeah, it's like bulk buying for the food truck.
You put up a poll, though. I saw that. I didn't get a chance to tune in. We got a lot going on with the truck coming up and cleaning and yada, 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 and then commissary. What was the final result? So to give them context, what was the poll, and then what was the results?
I was there, and I was kind of curious because we've been to Sam's Club and Costco previously, members of both at one time. So I asked them, like, do you prefer Costco or do you prefer Sam's Club? Me personally, through everything, I prefer Costco probably. Sam's Club's closer, but Costco has more, and they have, not to knock you at all, it's my favorite hot sauce. It's Truff hot sauce. So
okay. That's, it's been a great episode. Thank you guys for watching the Two Dads Podcast. We're going to get out of here. No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, that was good. Went there, but they didn't have truff. They were sold out because it's such a good hot sauce. But got everything in bulk. The poll showed like 73 or 74% of people prefer Costco over Sam's Club.
That surprises me, to be honest with you. I'm a Sam's Club guy. I don't know if it's just like growing up in Maria Stein, a little bit more country. We always went to Walmart. So that brand as a young familiarity, like already stuck. We used to go to Walmart. You know, this is before the Super Walmart was even in Salina. I think we went to Greenville. I'll have to ask my dad. I think it was Greenville. But it used to be like an endeavor.
Yeah.
You know, even thinking about like, I thought Walmart was Sam's Club. You see what I'm saying? Like it was just a giant place where you could go and like get a video game and also go get like dog food and about 3 months worth of groceries. So
instead of going to the local Big Bear or whatever that may be.
If I analyze it deeper, I don't think I have an allegiance to either one. I love any place that has a sleeve of Oreos, or I can buy Oreos by the 19 pack, you know?
The worst part was like I was trying to find like AJ and Big Justice, seeing if they give the podcast booms or dooms. Boom. They weren't there though, so
that's sad. But the chicken bakes, did you get any food there? I mean, their food's so cheap and stuff. That's kind of like half the appeal, right?
No, didn't go there. We actually went to Five Guys on the way down. So
great place.
We ranked it. It was a burger place. We love it. They have the Cajun fries I talked about.
Yeah,
really enjoyed the Cajun fries, but. I know you had the kids all weekend. We didn't really see each other all this weekend.
Oh my gosh. It was like being a servant. I felt like a butler. It was solo kids for me this weekend. Tasha went down to Nashville. I thought about going. I could have swapped weekends probably with their mom, but at the same time, you know, the food truck season, we talk about it from episode to episode. It just gets so heavy. Like it's really difficult to get free time at certain times. So I take advantage of every opportunity I can spend with them. Shout out being a good dad. Yeah. It was, you know, it made me, I double thought going to Nashville a couple times. Like, it was very intense. They're in this age right now. I don't know if you recognize it or have had this with Riker. He's about the same age as Izzy, a little older, but just constantly needing my attention.
Yep.
Dad, come here. Dad. And it just, at a certain point, like, I felt like I was like, I need to take a timeout. Like, I need to go decompress. I'm overstimulated. I need to go to my room and build some Legos or draw some coloring and stuff. So it was a great experience, obviously, having fun with the kids, but man, I was exhausted. So you didn't hear from me because of a lack thereof. You just didn't hear from me because I was probably sleeping.
I did see that you watched the Dogman movie. How was that?
Really good. I mean, Dave Pilkey, right? Like he was Captain Underpants, right? Back in the day. So I had a little bit of a connection to it. Honestly, for movies that the kids have been bringing up, and I'm sure that moms and dads out there can relate, pretty good.
Yeah, we went and watched it in theater, and if you can keep my attention span with a kids movie, I'm good. Like it wasn't so bad that I was like, man, this is terrible.
Yeah,
it kept me in the loop. But Riker reads Dogman every night before bed. He's looking for 2 more books. He's got like 8 of the 10 or 9 of the 11 or whatever. So we're going to try to find those for him on eBay or something, but I can't find them in the stores around here.
Do you see Two Dads books coming in for us? Do you think we'll have a...
Not this year, probably the year after.
2026, 2027.
Goal. Yeah, we'll get to it. Write a little, book about how to start a food truck. We'll steal some ideas from Parkway. The kids there.
The YouTube stuff, and I don't want to go too deep into this, but like Izzy and Mac, my children, recite YouTube videos. They're like, yeah, like this guy in JJ or something, like some Minecraft videos. I'm like, what? They recite it like Creed. It's almost like the dangers of YouTube. Like we are all aware of it, and I think parents are cognizant of it now more than ever. But holy crap, like it's a mantra. Like they know stuff that I'm like, dude, you need to calm down. Like you're watching too much.
Yeah, Riker's on about a 2 or 3 week YouTube sober streak because we caught him watching some stuff he really shouldn't be watching, so we just pulled it out from him.
Or you take people that are addicted to YouTube, you put them in like some kind of like...
Just take them in the woodshed, give them a good ass spanking, and say, you're not watching that anymore.
No YouTube anymore. That's amazing.
So we cut him off of that, and I mean, honestly, like Haley made a comment yesterday, like, no tantrums, no outbursts. Like, I mean, he's been a lot better behaving kid. Just now, we had to wean him off it, right? But we just cold turkeyed it and said, no, you're done. I mean, he's got, Nickelodeon, he's got Disney, he's got all that stuff he can watch that's good censored. So he's been watching Sam and Cat nonstop.
It's called programming for a reason. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like programmatics. Like think about the word in general. Often people hear that. Like, what's your favorite program on television? I mean, I don't want to get into that's a whole nother podcast topic we could spend hours on, but you get what I'm saying out there that are listening. Like I can see when the evolution changes of their brain. And speaking of seeing the evolution changes of the brain, our guest today is very exciting. They've got to see a lot of experiences, a lot of changing of the brains, a lot of YouTube, computer, video game. I mean, they could write a book on addiction because it's my dad. We're having my dad on the show, and he's dealt with a lot of this, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him. This is the first time I've actually got to meet him. I've seen him at the food truck last year a little bit. I didn't know he was your dad. I kind of assumed it, but I also didn't know if Rich was your dad too. When I first saw him, it was like, who's your real dad? Is it Mike or is it Rich? Who is it? I didn't know.
We talked about the number one question at the truck. Everyone says, like, are you two dads? Are you together?
Yeah.
Like that. That's the second question I think about. Now, a lot of people will come up and they'll say, who's the two dads? Is this you? And then, is that your dad here? It happened when we were in Shawnee as well. Yeah. I mean, they just look at Rich and go, that's your dad, right? And Rich is, I ain't his dad. I wouldn't claim him with a 10-foot pole. You know what I mean? Like, he's pushing me away. Like, that ain't my kid. I don't claim that.
Did you see his hair? No, hell no.
Yeah, I mean, unless you gave birth to me as my father did, you by association, he has to claim me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm excited just to kind of, dive into that because, I mean, like I said, we talked about an MVP dairy a little bit last week. Grew up on a farm, so kind of seeing, on the opposite side of what you grew up with. And seeing what, he tried to get you to influence to maybe take over, the bull semen and the bull farm.
Semen. Yeah, that one of the listeners, I was the heir to the bull semen throne here in Mercer County. Generational bull semen specialist, salesman of the bull semen, heir to the next generation. My grandpa had done it for 40 plus years. Yep. My uncle has done it for 40 plus years. My dad has done it for 40 plus years. And then you get this little shit in me that just is like, nah.
And
I want to play computer games.
Mitch is playing Farm Simulator. That's close.
I'm beating Dad's butt. Yeah, I'm beating Dad's butt and Madden 90-0, and he's just like, oh gosh, what have I done? What have I created? This computer thing. But no, I'm excited to talk to him about his perspective. He's done a lot of fairs. He's run the milkshake stand at the fair. He's done a lot of entrepreneurial stuff. He's a sales guy, and frankly, he's also worked the truck a lot last year. We wouldn't be here where we are, even to have the luxury of different operational changes, or even the truck probably in existence if it wasn't for the help from that man. So I'm excited for you as an operational guy to pick his brain. I mean, sure, there's questions you have about just even being inside the truck.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to dive into it a little bit, and we'll get him on here a little bit. But we had one other big thing that we kind of checked off the list this week.
What was that?
You finally figured out and got your taxes done.
Okay, dude. At this point, let's just get a firing squad and just have me in the corner. We don't even need to give me a mic. It's just you just ripping them off. Yeah, we got taxes done. Okay. We found receipts and couches inside the truck. We found receipts here, there, everywhere. You probably, I don't know. Did you have any regrets getting in the business now that you saw I felt like I opened a closet. And you're like, where's the receipts? Like, you keep dodging this. Where is the receipts? And I felt like I opened a closet and it just like poured out. And you're just like, oh dear God.
Well, we got them done with, for Mitch Stogler and I on Holloway Dumpster Service, I don't know, a month or so ago. And it was good because, we were able to absorb a loss, obviously. We were very successful for our first year of a dumpster company, but, startup costs with the dumpsters and the truck and everything like that, you can absorb a loss and kind of, push it out for a few years. So we did really good on that aspect because if you lose money in business, for a tax
we'll talk about our business then too. Like, what did it look like?
It's the same as you guys. You guys just did a larger number of sales dollars, so you had a little bit more there. But you had the truck, the fryers, the physical truck, right? Not just the food truck, the physical truck to haul it, and then all the other stuff that go with it, the generator and everything else like that. So doing really, really good for top line revenue for what I saw from what we did last year. Mm-hmm. And then, everything else, glad we got it filed and everything else, and, able to absorb a loss as well to, be able to take that money and put it back into something this year so we can keep kicking that down the road.
People underestimate how much it costs to start a business. I think that's one of the challenges and why small businesses are constantly fighting for tax breaks or any advantage that they can get is simply because it always costs more than you think. Like when I came in, I was doing like little Amazon, like, we can order this and we can order this and double it. Just double it, whatever you think it is. And the other piece of advice that I want to kind of share with you and obviously get your thoughts and stuff as you run Holloway Dumpsters and we commingle some businesses. We got some exciting things coming up. What I would say to people genuinely, when you get a good start and you feel like you have a good product and you have some runway or you have even some limited sales or you're generating enough that you're starting to keep receipts or growth, yada, 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 get a good accountant. Yeah. I can't stress that enough, that having a good accountant changed everything because there's a lot about taxation that I don't want to be a sci-fi conspiracy theorist, but I don't think the government wants you to know what tax breaks you have available, switching to an S corp, write-offs, assets as a part of the business. But once I learned those pieces of the business, it's starting to click. And I don't know, can you relate to that? Like how do you?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it from, an operational business side often, when you do that and then you're, hey, we're going to go get this. We got to buy this by December. So you get a capital expenditure so you can write it off a little bit. it makes it a whole lot easier. But on our scale, like, I mean, for Holloway is great because, we're looking at, getting an investor hopefully and then getting 4 or 5 more bins this year. So anything we do make this year, I mean, we're going to write it right back off.
I love that you brought the hat as well. We always say no free brand deals right there.
It's half my podcast. I'll wear what the hell I want.
Yeah, I respect it. I make power plays. I've got stock in the Green Bay Packers.
See, there you go.
2 shares, baby. Yeah. Don't know what that does, but they send me little certificates, and it wasn't cheap. So that's, maybe we should sell shares of TwoDads like that.
Oh, there's an idea. But yeah, no, the Holloway. Yeah, if you're looking for a dumpster, a clean out service, anything of those lines. We even took a flooring gig over an apartment complex.
You're a grinder, my friend. You do grind.
Yeah. So we're gonna lay some vinyl plank flooring over there. Me, Mitch Stogler, my brother Jack. Shout out Jack for the help. So that'll be good. And we got a trash jump out in St. Henry. We're tearing down an old mobile home. So
that's cool. I don't care about your business, but let's talk about. Just kidding. Conversely though, all jokes aside, we did lock in a lot of business for the truck though. We did lock in additional fares, and I want to give you huge credit. We talk about what are our love language. It's words of affirmation both ways, baby. I got to give you credit. We went out this year, and we set this sort of like, we talk about goal setting and making sure we find one step to the next. But the answer, truthfully, is you locked in 3 fairs yourself pretty much. We're now going to be in Mercer County Fair, Auglaize County Fair, and Darke County Fair?
Van
Wert County Fair, that's correct. So tell us about that. Like what business updates do we have? We got some fairs. We got some other opportunities that came up. Can you give us an update for the truck for those that have been following week to week?
Yeah. I was able to, we got Mercer pretty early. You were in that last year, so we were able to renew on that, which is good. And then we said, hey, we did some business in Van Wert last year. We have some Van Wert ideas this summer that we're going to be out to some of those, the Moonfest and a couple other things. And I was like, hey, you told me how daunting these fairs are. Like, I mean, it's 6-7 days in a row, and normally we're working Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe a Tuesday or Wednesday event. So we're working the whole month of August essentially. So it's gonna really test our patience, but we got a good team. We've stacked up 8 good employees, and it doesn't include people like your dad that'll help, or anybody else like your sister that'll help, but just our daily ones that'll help throughout the year. You'll see familiar faces. But we got confirmation from Van Wert, and then I was waiting on the gentleman from Auglaize County to come back from vacation. He came back this week. He's like, you're one of the first guys to just be this persistent and call this early, because normally, they're just not the most organized people. Food trucks are not usually. So I said, and he's like, we'd love to have you. And so he sent the paperwork. I sent it right back within the same day. And then we just got to mail him a check, and we'll be at all 3. And then we got the Indiana food license, right?
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, well, Portland's not that far. Jay County's not that far. So we're putting ourselves in Portland. Now we're going to have a little bit of a footprint there. Mm-hmm. If we come back, what repeat business could we get at the Portland Fair, which is Jay County Fair? So I reached out to them yesterday or Sunday at some point, called them, and they said, well, let us get back with you, blah, blah, blah. So that's usually what they tell you. Someone has to talk to their boss usually.
Does that make us carnies? Are you a carny? I don't
think I'm a carny, but...
Well, let me ask you this. What defines a carny? I mean, you just told me you're into 3, almost 4 fairs. You're practically a traveling circus. You serve food out there. You are one of the people. You're parked next to carnies.
I would say that.
You smell like a carny.
Yeah, that week I might, not just normally. I guess because I was stereotyping carnies maybe a little bit to be, a little bit more hillbilly-ish, a little bit more out there, getting rides. The Joe Dirt video.
Our entire carny basis, like our demographic of carnies listening to this podcast, just dropped off a cliff. They're
I apologize.
I'm never listening to those guys again.
Yeah, I apologize.
They can't use radio. They don't know how to use Spotify.
I literally pictured Joe Dirt at the fair and that one where he's smoking the cigarette, leaning up against there trying to get brandy or whatever.
I'm your sister. That's terrible.
No, but yeah, I think that's a good point though. I mean, I'm not a carny. I don't make it my living off of going to, that, but we do festivals. So yeah, kind of,
I mean, we're right there. I mean, if we're not carny, we're carny adjacent.
We're at least our cousins. Which
Carny
might be
Cousins.
a good thing. And
There's our next food truck idea. Carny Cousins. We're coming to an area near you. No, one of the things you said struck me, though, that I want to talk about before we get to the March Madness information, because we did finish the March Madness tournament. Florida has won. They've beat Houston. I want to get to that in a second. But one of the things you said really struck me. You talked about how we can innovate an older industry. You said this guy from the fair had called you and basically said, wow, nobody usually calls me like this. Nobody's persistent. They usually wait till the last minute, yada, yada, yada. One of the things that I find fascinating, and certainly in an evolution of entrepreneurship, so often people try to chase like startups, quick tech, very fast, SaaS products, boom, 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 new, that they forget that there's always money in consistent things you need. If you look quickly around this room, if you're watching on YouTube, the Holloway dumpsters, that's timeless.
Yep.
It's a dumpster company. People will always create trash. And you guys are coming up with new ways, albeit through marketing or speed, or you might be the only person with a website in a 30-mile radius because the current people running this are just an older generation, but they haven't developed. That's nothing. There's no fault of their own. Farmers are constantly adapting, right? And even us in food trucks, we're constantly changing the way business can be done. And I don't know if that about you, but that excites me about taking older industries, not being afraid to go into them because there's still money left into them.
Yeah, I mean, they've proven success. They've been around for how long? It's just how do you innovate? How do you improve? And what can you do to differentiate yourself? And I think, we talked about a possibility of something that we're going to put out there that I think that you and I are going to develop that is going to just separate us from every food truck out there.
My dad is so excited about this too. We pitched it to him just as like a concept idea, just like a bounce it off. We can't talk about it because there's a little bit of IP, but we are innovating something that's not been done before.
Yeah, and I mean, there was one other company that I found because when we do this, I start researching and trying to find other people to take best practices. There's one other one out there that I found by another company, and they do it really well. And I think they're completely across the country, so I'm good with it. But it's one of those that you don't really need to reinvent the wheel. You just got to change it a little bit. And I think we take that idea and change it with what we're going to do. And we'll tease it for a little while. It'll take us a little while to develop it, but it's going to be big for us. And if we can capture the market with it, it'll be big for a lot of other food trucks as well.
I think it can be a game changer. I think it leads an industry, and I'm very excited to see where that goes. But speaking of game changing and innovating on the food truck, we did host a $1,000. If you can find one across the country that held a $1,000 ESPN, no free brand deals, March Madness bracket challenge.
Free to enter.
Free to enter. We gave away $1,000. It just finished. Florida has beaten Houston 2 points, 1.5 margin difference. I think was
2 points,
the spread.
Off a terrible last possession by whoever that guy was.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but hopefully they don't listen to the podcast like Carney's because we have dissed him as well. Bill, step them through the winners. We've got a winners. We give a little claps here. Congratulations to our winners. Let's start at 45th because maybe you can explain the prize differential, what's going on, and give us the rundown of the winners, and we'll give them some claps and cheers.
Yep. So we said we were going to give away $1,000, and I'm always a big advocate. The top 3 players will get money. First place gets $500. Second place gets $250. Third place gets $150. That leaves $100 over in the kitty. And I looked at my son and I said, pick a random position 1 through 100. He said 45th. And that was on our socials. We talked about it before, and that was just random. So they still did good, but they just missed the cut, right? So it was like, just give somebody else something to play for. So there was a 3-way tie for 45th place. Ooh. Gabe Archer was one of them.
Like so Moose Gabe?
The Moose Gabe. So
if you want to be a part of something different, I love you, Gabe.
So he was one of them. My wife was one of the other ones.
Okay, this is starting to sound rigged. Our sponsor is tied for 45th. Your wife is tied with him.
It's on the ESPN app. There's no cheating
Who's
on
the
this.
third? Me? You?
Riker?
No. Yes, we got random names.
It was a random name on there, so this is one thing we have to do, but it says Twitter at PokeWokiDokie. So I have no idea who it is, so we'll reach out to those guys on socials if we can. But the good news is there's a tiebreaker on ESPN. And Haley and PokeWokiDokie all had 145 points. There was 127 or 128 total. And Gabe had 139. So they all went over, but Gabe Archer will be our 45th place winner because of that.
Congratulations, Gabe.
Good job, Gabe.
You earned some of that sponsor money back. Incredible.
Yeah. And then third place, again, I don't know the name, but Gary Ziggs, they Zags, got third place.
I've seen that name a couple times. I don't know. I think they were up top for a while, though.
Yeah, they were, and I think they fell off a little bit.
Well.
But second place was Brecken Klugman.
Shout out to the Klugster.
Yeah. And then first place was NT Speckman. I'm assuming it might be Nate Speckman from New Bremen. So great job, Nate. And
that was actually my account. I named it that.
That was my burner account.
I won. That's great. It's my burner.
Yeah, and I was Gary Ziggs. They Zags.
Oh, man. It looks like we're not handing any cash out this year. Congratulations to Gabe, Haley, me, and Bill for winning. That's terrible.
No, but seriously. So if you're any of those winners, Gabe, I know you, Gary Ziggs, they Zags, Brecken, or Nate Speckman, please reach out to us because I don't have contact information for you. So if you know anybody, tag them in our socials. Let them know. We will get the money out to them, Venmo, PayPal, or cash.
Zelle, whatever they want.
Whatever, yeah. We'll find a way that they have it. So congratulations. Thank you all for playing. That was big for us. 275 entries. Mitch got 76th.
Oh.
He got Florida, and I had 113th. I had Houston, so I would have probably poked the top 20 if Houston, I couldn't have won. But I was in another one where one of my best friends, Brett Akins, had Florida. I had Houston. This was like a paid one to enter. It was like $280 if you win. And I told him, I was like, you always want to try to say, hey, do you want to split it? And I'm not that guy.
You gotta lobby it.
It was $15 to enter or whatever it was. So I was like, nope. And then I fell asleep last night when Houston was up 12 with like 10 minutes to go. I woke up at 3 in the morning, looked at my phone. I was like, damn. He hasn't trash talked me all day, which is shocking because that's what he does. So shout out Brett Akins and the other one, part of the Ray Cup members. So yeah, it was good. March Madness is gone. Favorite month of the year.
I'm still
it's
pissed.
Seasonal depression for me again.
I'm pissed. Back to seasonal. Well, the Reds, they're first team to go 0-1, like lose
3 games in a row, 1-0.
60s. I hate those stats. What sucks though is I picked Florida as the winner. I had Florida in the finals, and I still finished 76th.
Yeah. You just sucked in the early rounds.
Well, dude, every favorite one. Like, I don't know. I try to just have a couple, like, throw in the dark picks.
Yeah.
And, someone usually goes on a run. I think the NIL and everything is changing that. I don't think we'll see the George Masons of years past or the VCUs make crazy pushes that are just like, wow, anymore. I think, like, I don't know.
We see that one guy from that small school, all of a sudden now he gets this big NIL deal
you
to come
$10
to
million
Duke
to go play
or
somewhere,
wherever. It's like, yeah, see ya. So you might get that one flash in the pan, but they can't sustain it for multiple years.
There's no shot. But we do have an exciting superstar on set today. Did you know that? Did I tell you about that? An exciting superstar is going to be here coming on. It's going to be my dad.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So to give him a quick intro.
So it's 3 dads now.
Now we're a throuple, and people are going to really not believe that we're not 2 dads together,
Yeah,
3 dads together.
3 dads singularly, individually.
Yes, with individual families and individual kids. And
lives in different houses and everything.
Let's bring him on here. My dad, let's give him a quick intro. He's my favorite man, a best friend for years. He's the semen king of Mercer County and a former milkshake man at that. A self-taught electrician. And ladies, you'll find him spending most of his days parading around the spiritual centers in the area. Let's welcome Mike.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Mike. How are we?
Wow, big Mike finally in the house. How are you, Dad? Thank
for
coming on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. How did you feel how did you feel when we asked you?
What the hell do they want to talk to me about? That's pretty much what I thought.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you why, I know why you probably had Mitch. I was wondering why you kept him around all these years.
Honestly, because nobody else would take him. We tried to give him away all over the place.
We talked about this before you got on. Just line me up in the back, a firing squad.
That's right.
But we teed you up, Dad. We talked about a little bit about your sales history past. We talked about the bull semen industry. And something like that, that's a hard industry to get into. It takes real balls. There's a lot of shit to get through. And in the end, it can be draining on your body. But what can you tell us about being a generational bull semen salesman? Like, what was it like? Like, how did you get into that?
Well, we didn't really get into it. We was born into it. I was going around with my dad like you went around with my dad and just kept on going. And after high school, I went to auto diesel mechanic school, and after 2 years of that, I found out, well, once you graduate and get a job, you aren't making any money. So my brother, who was in the business, also just said, well, just come to work for us for a summer. So, so I went to work for them for a summer, and that summer still went on 40 years. So
that's a long summer.
That's a long summer. So yeah, it was about 41 years.
That's incredible. What did you think about me leaving it then? What did you think about, like, because you just said, like, you were kind of in it. I did ride with my dad.
And that's something I didn't know till today, that you were going to be the heir to that. So, yeah, what happened? I mean, I'll let Miss ask the question, but.
Well, all of us, my dad and my brother and I, as we were growing up, Dad had a great life, but it was 7 days a week, and it was hard work. Yeah. And my brother, he came home from actually, before he went in the service, he said, Dad, this is what I want to do. And Dad said, no. Don't do that.
You don't have a choice.
He said it's a dying business and stuff like that. And that was about in 68. He said it was a dying business. And brother said, well, I'm going to try it anyhow. So he started at it. And when I graduated high school in 78 and tried a few other things. But then in 1980, I started working for COBA. And Dad said, no. It won't last. So it didn't disappoint me in the least that Mitch didn't follow in our footsteps. It was, I liked when they all rode with me, and I was very proud of what I did. And as our whole family was proud of what I did. But I had always thought with both my kids, with Mitch and Emily, this is your life, not mine, and it's hard enough to take care of myself, much less 2 more kids. So
Yeah,
they're on their own.
it's funny you say that because, my dad always said when we were younger, he was a little bit higher up at Honda for all those years, worked there for about 25 years before he passed. And, it's funny because he's like, you guys are going to college. That was kind of what all the, parents said for us guys that are, 30 to 37, 40 years old. You're going to go to college. You're going to have a good job, a better education than what everybody else had. And it's important to, put your kids on a path for success, which, you did. Mitch did great. But he didn't want me to be in manufacturing. He didn't want me to be there, working in, in a factory all my life.
Yeah.
He wanted better for me. So I did go to college. I wanted to do that. And then I reverted right back and went to a factory, and but I did. I went to a factory, started at Crown, and I continued in that, and I found a really good success there, and I've learned a lot of good life traits there. I met a lot of good people. So it was funny how it's like, you didn't care if Mitch followed your steps.
Yeah.
My dad wanted me to kind of avoid his steps, and I followed right behind him. And 33 years old, I'm doing the same thing he was doing.
It's still one of the things that I inherited from you, Dad, though, was you heard it when he said it, like, I'm very proud of what I do. Part of the inheritance doesn't necessarily have to start and stop at an occupation, though. I think one of the things that we talk about, like, what two dads, right? No, it's not us together. Like, that joke can live and die. But it was really just about being a dad. And I think to me, and I'll ask you the same question here in a second, it's like, what does being a dad mean to you? To me, because of the way that you handled that situation, watch the trickle-down effect. Now I want Mac and Izzy, like people say, are they going to join the chicken truck? I say, no. I just want them to be around entrepreneurship, just to see that life of 9 to 5 doesn't necessarily have to exist. If they choose to build a business, wonderful. If they choose to go into a standard 9 to 5, wonderful. I still think it sets them up for success. And that's kind of how I'm sort of at 35 right now, snapshot, looking back at the Spotify episode 20 years later. Who knows how I feel? But right now, that's kind of how I feel. Just like let them kind of guide it. Dad, I ask you, what does being a dad mean to you?
Well, you always want your kids to end up being more successful and better than you are. We're not that, you were the loser or anything, but you always want it to be better and better and better.
I just took a drink when you said that.
But, my thing all throughout is I want my kids to be happy, healthy, and contributing members of society. I didn't want them to be a drain. I want them to be a faucet. So if my kids were those 3 things, then I've done my job and I'm happy.
Yeah, what do you think about being a grandpa now? Like, this has gone full circle. Like, now your virtues have changed, is not just to 2 dads, but like to grandpa. How's that feel too? Now that
I'm out.
Yeah, trust me. I just had a weekend from hell, so you should come in. Actually, you helped out quite a bit this weekend too. Shout out to Dad.
Being a grandpa is great because you can have all the fun and be around them and do all that kind of stuff, and then just give them back. They're not my problem.
Exactly. One of the things I want to ask, though, while we have you here, obviously this podcast relates to the truck, and the morals of being a father is embedded in who we are, why we always try to do the next right thing, why we always have good intentions. But what do you remember about the moment, if you can draw on it, what do you remember about the moment that I first told you I wanted to start a food truck? And did you feel like it was a wild idea or something that actually made sense for me?
I thought it was a wild idea. It did not make sense for you at all.
All right, this is the first time I'm hearing this live, so this is we got a family trauma here. You didn't
Par for the course for Mitch, though.
I did that all without you believing me.
Well, and I don't know, in Mitch's upbringing and everything, and knowing him for all through his life and all that kind of stuff, Mitch is a very passionate person and goes after whatever he wants and all that kind of stuff. But I can honestly say that it was all mental work. And as far as physical work, Mitch wasn't, that bar was set pretty low on the physical aspects of actually getting work done. And,
you should see what I can lift with my brain, though, Dad.
Well, that's why he brought me in. He brought me from the physical stature side. So it's a good team.
When he mentioned the food truck, and I've been involved in all kinds of different things with the milkshake stand and other things out in the public, it's a lot of work. And I was happy that he thought he'd go ahead and try it. and do it. But I wasn't expecting his level of stick-to-itiveness that he had all
Well, it
through
wasn't just
last
a
year.
phase, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it wasn't just a phase, and most of it is because it gave him something tangible that I could understand, because up until that aspect, most everything Mitch did was on computer and all the electronics and all that kind of stuff, which, not that I'm an old fogey, but it's something I don't keep up with.
Neither does Bill, and he's half your age. So.
I'm not a tech guy. The joke goes on, but you said you had a milkshake stand. So was that something young? I mean, you started as a young entrepreneur on that, or where'd you do that? Because I mean, I don't know where that was at.
It came about through Mercer County, and years ago they had a Holstein Association, and they couldn't keep it going. And I went home and asked my wife, "Hey, you want to kind of take this over and just run it in their name?" So we didn't have to worry about people working it, because all the dairy community helped it, and it was all strictly for charity, and went to the 4-H kids and back into the barn. So we made 25 years. We made no money off of it at all, but we
Sounds
had
like a great business model.
Well, not only that, but I think it speaks to kind of what like we're doing. I mean, the community outreach, right? We're providing a service for the community with the food. We do turn a profit, obviously. But I mean, we still go out there. We donate money to things. We try to help people and stuff like that in the community. So it seems that the roots come from you, and they pass to Mitch a little bit.
That's real important, and I'm glad that he's done this so well, and keeps things going, and remembering that it's the people that come there that you serve that are the most important things, because without them, the whole thing turns to crap.
It's a beautiful humility. I mean, no, he's right. I mean, Bill does a great job reminding me that every day. I mean, going as you get older and understanding that this is a service we're providing, it's an experience. It's not just the food is important. I have a question, just kind of going back to what we were talking about. Like, all right, you had some skepticisms. You've had your own background in entrepreneurship, blah, blah, blah. When did it click for you that it wasn't just a phase then? When did you kind of look at this and say, hey, they're actually building something special? Like Bill and I are doing something pretty cool.
Oh, it really clicked all that at one time. And the time is you gave me the phone call and said, hey, Dad, can you drive to Columbus and pick up my truck and bring it back to Salida? I said, okay. And I drove down there, and as soon as I pulled up to his food truck and they opened it up and saw how quite impressive it was, because it was brand new, and most
shiny.
Most food trucks are an old UPS truck or something. That nothing against that, but I mean it was nice and new, and it says, well, he better make a go of it, or else he's going to go broke real fast. So.
But I mean, it was a successful first year, and we got a lot on the docket for this upcoming year, and I think we've been able to grow a little bit. We're looking at getting a possibly second truck next year. I'm just as motivated as Mitch and as aggressive as Mitch is, so it's good. I'm a little bit more humbled with Mitch than the aggressiveness. He's all gas, no brakes. I at least have a brake pedal in my car.
That's nice to know.
Yeah, so I'll pull back when we pull back, but you need someone to have that vision, right? Because without that vision, it's just a hope or a dream, and he has that. But I want to circle back to the fairs a little bit, because I mean, I know you said you did fairs there. For me, I think you worked at the fair this year with them. We're doing 3 fairs this year. You worked a milkshake stand. What advice you got for me on fairs? Like the whole week, what good, bad, and ugly. What advice would you have for me with a fair?
Don't plan for anything else, even sleep, and just plow through it. And hope you have a very good, understanding wife. So,
I do. Haley knows. She knows the work hours I put in. A lot of long days, a lot of long nights. But yeah, Mitch said the same thing. He's like, we did 1, and it wrecked us, and we're gonna do 3 and 5.5 weeks.
Yeah, well, I'm only good for one of those.
That is funny. That is funny though. The one thing that I'm thinking in the back of my head though is like, you talk about like seeing the truck, bringing it home. You've seen the growth. We now have a podcast. We've got community members excited. We're doing a good service. We're treating everybody with respect. We're providing a cool experience. Like, what do you think about 3 fairs though? I mean, there is no. I mean, we talked about it last year at the end of the year. We said, look, we did 1 fair. We would love to do more. I mean, we said it, even though we're like, dude, the money was good. It's a really cool experience. Like, it's just boom, 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 boom. Now we're doing 3 going on 4.
Yeah, but that's the name of the game. That's what you've got to do. I mean, if you want to do the food truck and you saw how successful it was at one place, now all of a sudden, you just said it before, you're going to Portland just to stick your toe in the water. What a great place to try to get another fair in, because all of a sudden it gets you exposure, because even though the podcasts and everything are great, and that's the leading thing of why you guys are so successful, is because of Mitch's big mouth. Is why they're so successful. But to go out there and show them the product and the time and effort that it takes to actually serve a good product, and them kind of knowing that you're not trying to gouge them as you're doing it, I think is real important. And to go to 3 or 4 fairs, all of a sudden, TwoDads is spread over 4 counties, 5 counties, rather than just southern Mercer County, or in Mercer County and around Salina. So
I think that was the big takeaway for me when Mitch brought me on, and I said, what are you going to bring? I said, we got 4 wheels. Let's take it somewhere, and we go back to it. And I'll thank Boardwalk forever.
Yeah, me too. Shout out to Boardwalk.
It's a food truck. There's events and rallies, and there's a mass grouping of people, and that's where you want to target. So if there's thousands of people at fairs, there's thousands of opportunities to sell sandwiches and everything else. And we saw it just in Shawnee. We went to one small event in Shawnee, and we got 3 or 4 more leads. And the people that don't really know us up there, is inspiring to see that they said, "Hey, we want you here. We want you here." And shout out Nathan Wilker, got me the.
Tell that story real quick,
Yeah.
even for dads. Like, the power of the podcast is that.
So we went to the event, and I was trying to call somebody for Cridersville Jeep Rally. It sounds like this really big event. They said they have 20 to 30 food trucks, all sorts of Jeeps come from all over the country, and I couldn't get a contact. And I even grew up in the Walpock area and couldn't even get it from Cridersville down the road. So that was like, oh man, I'm kind of losing a step here. But
poor Bill.
Nathan Wilker, I work with him out at Sporting Goods once in a while. And he texted me this morning like 7:30, and it was just a phone number and a contact name. He said, "Hey, I listened to the podcast this morning, and here you go." So Nathan, next time you come out to TwoDads, remind Bill or Mitch, you get 1 free order.
100%.
Just for helping.
Give them 2.
2 free orders. So you and your girlfriend, wife, whatever you have, we'll count the meal for you. That was big for us because I was able to make that contact and hopefully be out there. And the good news is it's in April, and our schedule's light in April. So that could be a really big win for us. But you said it, the podcast is kind of the power of the voice. Now we're getting 400 to 500 views a week just on the podcast alone, not including socials. And it's like, this is incredible that we're going to be able to go out and get some of these events and really help grow the business.
Yeah. Speaking of growing the business, Dad, I got a question for you. Going through what I've gone through, you've seen me in my teens, preteens, 20s, 30s,
Diapers,
everything. Yeah. Here, there, everywhere, every angle, good or for better or for worse. You see the truck in year 2. Okay, you see the operational excellence coming in Bill. Let me ask you just point blank, because it's a good fortuitous question. How have you seen me grow as a person?
Quite a bit. You're 35 years old, and I think the maturity level of you being into this and knowing that people counted on you and only you has made you just so much different that all of a sudden, like I said, people actually really counting on you and only you, I think really smacked you in the face, and you stepped up and knocked it out of the park.
Mm-hmm. It was hard. It was really hard.
I would honestly, last year through the fair and a couple other times, it'd be like 3 or 4 in the morning, and he's out in his garage prepping chicken, prepping this, prepping that. And then that's when my wife and I just kind of stepped in and said, "Hey, we need to help this guy or he ain't going to last very long." So we did. And we was very happy to. Like I said, this is the first time that us as a family's all been on the same page as far as, okay, there's physical work that needs to be done, and we can do that, type of stuff. And it's been different.
It's crazy because, like, some people rally around like going on vacations with family. Like, some people connect with like, oh, we always do a family trip, or like the Cup family. Like we had the Cups on last week. They seem so like indoctrinated, like they're weekend hanging out. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how often you see your mom. My mom lives in Indiana, 2.5 hours, so she'll come in every once in a while, and it's really tough coming from a divorced home as well. Like there's this like, it's just a lot of moving pieces. It's not for better or for worse. It's always been loving and awesome, and the environment's been great. But what I have found, and I agree with you, Dad, is like we all rallied around this like one truck, and I think it's so cool. Like it brings a smile to my face. Like we had something that galvanizes us as a family, not a board game night, not a vacation where we're all on our best behavior, just having fun, but just simply put, being able to just rally around one mission. And it has been, I don't know about you, but it was a blast. Now, I'm not asking you to do this again this year, but it was a blast during the time.
No, it was. And your sister, Emily, she says, I'll be there.
It's now a family
Karen
event.
and
The
I-
Mercer County Fair is now a family event for the Longs.
And, you set that goal of the last day of the fair, and you start the first day, and you all rally together and say, God, let's make it. Got to make it. Got to make it.
If you had one piece of advice for me and Bill, Bill's on the team now. He's part of the family. He's doing amazing things on the other side that I simply cannot do. What's one piece of advice with the wisdom you have and being able to work the truck, having a more experience than probably most, that you might give to both of us? Is there something that comes to mind that you just think of immediately?
It goes back to what I said before. Just always make sure that the people ordering your chicken and coming to the food truck leave with a smile on their face and they're happy and they have a good product. Because, every time one person has something good, they're going to tell people good. If somebody has something bad, it's not going to take long before that gets out there.
Well, you saw it in Shawnee. That guy had that one sandwich.
Oh, yeah, the guy that came back, you're right.
Gave it to his family, and then he came back, ordered 4 or 5 more orders because his family enjoyed probably just a bite of the tender or just the fries. Like, this is good. I'm going to get it for my whole family.
Yeah, I think the experience that we're talking about too, like the operational excellence, the chicken is good. It'll stay great because of what you provide.
Yep.
For my side, I've learned a lot more with humility, with respect to like what I've gone through and what, the family has galvanized. Like, I have this respect for my community, I have the respect for my family to give this my best effort. And it's also why the front of the house, he joke, it's 2 feet difference. But I feel like you just do a spin and then you're in the back of the house, whatever. But what I'm saying is like, I'm taking time now to have more conversations. I recognize that people aren't as cognizant of ticket times. This isn't some kind of like factory print job sort of food truck that a lot of my consultants run those types. They are faceless, they're nameless, they kind of know the guy, but it's about profit. And ours is about profit. You can't have a business without focusing on revenue, right? But at the same time, I'm recognizing now more than ever that people just want to talk to us. We have a voice in the community. We're trying to do cool things. We're trying to give back. We sponsored Northmore. We sponsored Plaza Lanes. I have a call for Plaza Lanes end of season. They're calling us again like, hey, of course they want sponsor money, but they're calling because we were a good sponsor. We tried to lift them up. We're a little bit more than a sponsor. So first right of refusal on that. And I'm really enjoying season 2 because it's not about surviving like you were talking about in season 1. Mm-hmm. This is about thriving. This is about growth, refinement, I think. And your side comes to that too, Bill.
Well, I think, it speaks volumes to, my experiences last year, right? I'm not in this seat with you right now if you would have been a chauvinist asshole or anything like that. I saw the truck. I tasted the food. I saw Mitch. I learned who Mitch was. And that excited me. And then I inserted myself to say, hey, I can help you with this if you'll have me. And that's when it goes back. And my first reaction to Mitch at the food truck was, man, that guy's kind of an ass. I never would approach that. We wouldn't have been here.
If you did.
Right.
Oh, I thought you said you did. I'm like, God.
Sorry. If I thought you were an asshole.
My dad didn't believe in me. Yeah. And you thought I was an ass. How did we get here from there? No, it's good.
Mama, we made it.
That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
No, and it's really good. I've heard about you a lot, Bill, even though today's the first time we met. And you two's strengths and weaknesses complement each other quite a bit to make it more and more successful because you're focused on detail and getting things done and making sure things this. And Mitch, like you said, is can you take the foot off the gas pedal just for a minute?
Yeah, give me a chance to breathe here. But
and he won't.
No, he won't. And I've kind of told him that. I said, hey, go. I'll make sure we optimize this. I'll make sure we get enough chicken sandwiches. We'll build a team. We went from.
You haven't been through a fair yet, though, have you?
I haven't been there, but we'll circle back. We'll circle back in October once we get through fair season, and I think we'll be pleasantly surprised with the team we build and are able to execute on what I know we can do. We just got to get there.
Mm-hmm. We will get there. And I think one of the things that comes to mind, and Bill and I, we have positive reinforcement. It's all about manifestation. It's all about lifting each other up. Now, we're not always like hunky-dory every day, but we still come with that same attitude. We're going to win. Keep stacking days.
Keep stacking days,
Keep
baby.
stacking days. And, you know, would I have told you that the moose would give me a fried chicken scented candle starting the podcast here? Would I think that we'd have this even set up? Would I even think that you'd be on here talking about the success for year 2? No, I wouldn't. But who knows what's going to happen in year 3 as long as we keep having this kind of attitude and, you know, wisdom like that. It's huge.
Yeah. And I do have to say, I said it once before. You said it once before, but I do got to really commend the boardwalk for sticking with you guys and getting your feet settled into the ground and getting things a good start. That and I know all the people that are around Karen and I and everything. They're all saying, "Are you coming back to the boardwalk?"
I know.
I said, he can't. And they said, "What?" Oh, no, he can't. He's in 3 fairs. He's got more things booked this year than they were open last year, and that just can't be done. And but they were still very happy and excited that you guys are doing so extremely well. And like I said, that's a lot to do with the boardwalk that they had gave a place for you to grow.
Not even existing before. I have to give all the credit to Chloe that works out at the boardwalk for watching our videos. And then obviously the Bruns family, Jason, Lindsay, Randy, Rosie, everybody that was involved that just said, yeah, let's take a risk on these guys. I mean, I've never talked to them before this. I didn't meet Randy until like halfway through the season where he's like, I'm the owner. And he just like came up and ordered food. I'm like, oh gosh, hope you like it. And
kind of a big deal.
And they did. But yeah, we give credit. You know, we've had a lot of breaks and breakthroughs and we're very thankful and we're excited for season 2 to commend. We'll probably have Dad back again, but I've got a fun game.
Okay.
Just for us as we end. My dad hates condiments. That's a fun fact that never brought up. Hates condiments.
I'm a
condiments.
Huge sauce guy.
Opposite guy. You're sitting at, you talk about a yin and yang, Dad. You and Bill would make a serious team in sauces. So Dad.
No sauce.
Not even dad sauce?
No. It's got mayonnaise in it.
Damn.
I've never.
Here we go. 40 seconds on the clock. All right, Dad, we're going to wrap this up with a lightning round called Push It or Pitch It. It's all about condiments, and you tell me quick. Would you push it in your truck and sell it, or would you pitch it and a hard pass, get that out of here? No explanations, just gut reaction. Are you ready?
Just your dad or like we did with Allie?
Is this for your food
You're going to
truck?
say yes in all of them, so that's fine.
That's true, yeah. We'll just roll with your dad.
In a food truck that you own. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Ketchup.
Yeah.
Say push it or pitch it.
Push it.
Mustard.
Pitch it.
Mayonnaise.
Yeah. Wait till it goes old and pitch it.
Ranch.
Push it.
Sriracha.
Push it.
Barbecue sauce.
Push it.
Relish.
Trash it.
Tartar sauce.
Very much trash it.
Aioli.
Push it.
Hot honey.
Push it.
Horseradish.
Push it.
Blue cheese.
Push it.
Sweet chili.
No, trash it.
Thousand Island dressing.
Trash it.
Yum Yum sauce.
Trash it.
That's all we got the time here. Here's my dad. Thanks for coming here, Dad. We love you. You're one of my best friends.
Very much.
We couldn't be here without everything you, Karen, Emily, the whole family. We literally wouldn't be here having this podcast and having so much fun in operational excellence. So Bill wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. Thank you, Dad.
And honestly, we've had fun too. Thank you.
You have enough fun to do 3 fairs?
No.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have here. That's the TwoDads Podcast. This
Thanks
is my
for
dad.
keeping Mitch around too, because then I got to meet him. If you'd have pitched Mitch, we'd have been in trouble.